Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the CCA. We've got a great matchup coming here. We've got OU Black versus Coastal Squid Surge. I'm going to be one of your commentators, Toma, on mic, and I've got my friend Spicy here with me. How are you doing tonight, Spicy?
Doing great, Toma. So, my bracket is currently getting ruined in March Madness, but I get to instead take a seat back and just watch some great Splatoon, and I'm really excited for this.
Yes, it's going to be a great game. It looks like they're getting ready up here in the lobby. I think the first map is going to be Rainmaker on Brine Water Springs. Tell me a little bit about this map. What do you think the strategy is here? What kind of weapons do you like to see coming out?
So, Brine Springs is a fairly linear Rainmaker map, in my opinion, especially having the only one checkpoint and then having that uphill push up all the way back to the final goal. So, I'm really excited to see what kind of offensive weapons are we going to be seeing from each team to try and make this frontline push, but also considering how are we going to prevent these pushes from the enemy team here. So I just kind of see what these weapon balances are, especially here in Division 5. You get to see a lot more weapon variety compared to up in the higher divisions. So I'm really excited to see all the potential possibilities.
So am I. Like you said, a really linear, very fast map. We got OU Black here. They are 1-1 currently in this season, going 4-1 against MSU and going 1-4 against Goomies in last week. Their notable results going 3-2 in groups for the entrance exam. And they've played in past seasons of CCA. They were in season 2, Div 5, and they went 5-2 in their group there.
Yep, and from the Coastal Squid Surge, we see that they have a 1-0 record so far, winning 4-0 in their first week against the IVC Devil Rays. They opted to use their reschedule last week, so they're taking a bit of a break compared to first week. And now we're really going to be excited to see what both teams are going to be able to bring here on game one.
Yeah, but we see a leader mirrored on both sides, and then we got quite a bit of aggression there. You've got the two shooters on the side of Coastal Squid Surge with that blaster that can maybe poke up at that leader. Three shooters on the side of OU Black, including the 96 Deco, new to this season with its Kraken special.
Yep, we love to see the Kraken special here. We see OU Black take up the Rainmaker already. They're gonna push now. They have the Kraken ready, just trying to disrupt anything possible from Coastal Squid Surge, trying to get something here. It looks like they're gonna break the bubble. Maybe not right away yet, but it looks like they're gonna have an advantage here, potentially early on to try and get the stat. But as we say that, they go 2 down, and now all of a sudden Coastal Squid Surge is gonna look to take the Rainmaker soon and start making their push of their own.
Yep, you see this blaster up there pestering that E-leader, but goes down to one of the shooters. While not really paying attention to that side, the Rainmaker is going to reset back in mid, kind of in a neutral game, 2 down on both sides as they're going to be kind of fighting here, trying to get some picks. You see this junior moving forward underneath this ledge, trying to throw some twerps and get some pressure onto that leader, but ultimately is going to have to back up to help with the pop here as they go over to the left side flank. Rainmaker really purple right now, not popped yet, but now we see one member of OU Black so far forward there getting a lot of pressure, but the Rainmaker goes down just before the second checkpoint. A great pick there, I believe, by that leader, getting another one as well. Now 2 down on the side of OU Black. Coastal Squid Surge, now this is their opportunity to make a push.
Yep, and we're going to probably be seeing a lot of these back and forth actions coming from both teams right now. Now we see Coastal Switcher have the Rainmaker here. They're going to try and make this push here. They end up going down, and now they're going to try and just to keep reestablishing a position here. They go 2 down, and now we see Plank on this side of OU Black is just putting a lot of pressure on, getting the assist right there, having a ton of pressure now. They're gonna be able to break the bubble here, and it looks like they're gonna try and make a push of their own now. They're gonna start paying towards the checkpoint. You see the Rainmaker go up. It looks like they're gonna be able to take it right now, and now OU Black is gonna have an early lead going in.
Yeah, well, they weren't quite able to break the checks, but they are able to turn around now and hopefully get it this time. That first checkpoint, kind of the real difficult part of getting a push started, but now you can see they're up here on this ramp, a very linear takeaway, and you've got, Plank, you've got members of OU Black up here distracting, you've got the Kraken coming in, just trying to carve a path. You can see that Rainmaker tick down all the way to 13. Once you're on that ramp, it can be so hard to stop you, and they try to pick up the Rainmaker and drop it out, but Plank drops down from the side, still there in the base. No one saw them, and able to get 2 down on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, stalling that out. You see jumps coming in, the splash ball coming out, and the members of OU Black are going to eventually fall, but that stalled quite a bit of time in the base of Coastal Squid Surge.
Exactly, and now Coastal Squid Surge now has to make a much more massive push than they originally had to. Plank was able to keep Coastal Squid Surge back in their base, just being able to get these picks, and now Coastal Squid Surge, with less than 2 minutes to go, is going to try and just fire their shots. They still have to take it to the first checkpoint. We wanted to see what they're able to do here. They end up going down, and now it's going to be with an even 3-3 now. It's a 2-3 now in favor of Coastal Squid Surge. We're going to try and see what Coastal Squid Surge is going to be able to do here to try and make this comeback.
Yep, you see here, you got this E-Leader moving around, trying to get a good view onto where this Rainmaker may be pushing through. We've seen them get good picks throughout this game so far, and that's one of the struggles here on this map. E-Leader can kind of reach all the way across it, so Coastal Squid Surge really gonna have to find a way to make sure that leader gets moved so that their Rainmaker can move forward safely, and they have the options to do it. They've got that range blaster, or sorry, that's a regular blaster, I believe, that can poke up, kind of move that leader, but right now, they're still just lacking the presence on the field that they need in that space that they need to get everybody to move. But this Rainmaker is right here in front of this pedestal. That pop is going to provide the paint up it, and now they're going to be sitting here at the first checkpoint. About 45 seconds left in this match, and they just need to try to get it up this ramp.
Yep, and with OU Black going 2 down, Coastal Squid Surge looks to be in a position to possibly make this one last push. They have 40 seconds here to work with until a potential overtime. You see the splash wall coming out from the side of OU Black, and you see the Rainmakers just going to start firing off these shots, try to put as much pressure as they can along with the E-Leader to make it up. They're already over at the 50 until they lose it right there, and with 20 seconds roughly to go, it's going to come down to whether or not OU Black is able to just hold here on defense. You see that they're able to pop the Rainmaker, not going to opt to pick it up yet. Now they pick it up. They're going to try and just fire these shots. All they have to do is hold for 10 seconds, but now they lose the Rainmaker here. Is Coastal Squid Surge is going to be able to pick it up. They can force an overtime situation, but right now, Rainmakers all are there. We are looking right now with 1 second to go. Are they going to be able to pick it up? No, not yet. And all of a sudden now, OU Black is going to take the first game.
Oh my gosh, that was really close there. I thought for a second that they were going to be able to get a hold of that. It was just their junior up, but we saw early on in that game, when it was in the platform of Coastal Squid Surge, that Plank just knows how to stay alive, knows how to pester. So with Plank being the only one up, they weren't gonna let the Rainmaker fall so easily.
Yep, and going into that after that game, OU Black is now having that little bit of momentum going into game 2. So Coastal Squid Surge went 4-0 in their first week. This is their first loss of the season technically now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come back here, how they handle this early adversity, having this mental reset going into Clan Blitz on Eelta Alley. What do you think about this map coming up?
You know, it's a really interesting map. I know that we have these leaders that have come out on both sides. I'm really interested to see if they're going to stick around. Yeltel Alley is kind of one of those interesting maps where, you know, as a backline player myself, it's so hit or miss. And it really depends on what the other team comp is going to run, whether or not it's a good pick. If they have another backline, you can have a great fight up there between the two leaders on the bridge, and it can mean the difference in who gets the push in and who doesn't. But if one of the teams decides to drop that leader and run kind of more of a fast-paced, aggressive comp, the leader can sometimes be a little bit of a hindrance. And if you're not able to make sure that you're going to hit every shot, you may get overwhelmed and forced back, and your team will lose a lot of ground. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to stick with those leaders on both sides, or if one team's going to maybe opt to play a little bit more faster paced game.
Yep. We see on the side of Coastal Squid Surge that they have a deep roster, having 6 players, and them all having a wide arsenal of weapons here. So going into this mode, it's gonna be interesting to see if they opt to play a different style here, especially going down in the first game. Maybe they want to reset something, go in with a fresh lineup here, some new weapons, just to change things up, make it harder for OU Black to anticipate what's gonna happen, and then make it so Coastal Squid Surge has an advantage going in.
Yeah, and you know that's what you want to be able to do here. You kind of saw in that game that um, OU Black was just really good at being able to hold that space, being able to hold defense and keep up the pressure. And Coastal Squid Scourge, while they were able to get that push in near the end, was kind of struggling to find a little bit of the coordination that they needed and a little bit of the paint and presence that they needed. I'm wondering to see, A, will they keep that leader? Will they switch off a blaster to something that maybe will provide a little bit more paint and a little bit more maneuverability around the map and access to clams in this economy? Those are going to be things to look out for to see if they change or how they're going to roll with it. And we actually do see the leader is coming off, so is the blaster. Leader's coming off from both sides. We're going to see a little bit more of a fast-paced comp. You still do have Peachy on the heavy, or not, sorry, that's Kiza, I'm not sure how to pronounce their name, on the heavy splatling, so a little bit of a traditional backline that can hold space a little bit better, especially when rushed down, but you're going to see a far more aggressive comp coming out of OU Black this time.
Yep, one thing I want to point out from OU Black is that they're running the new NZEP 89. This is a chance to get to see the new Super Chump in action here, having able to put all that pressure from the distance here, gonna give like a bit of a distraction for potentially for their teammates to open in. As we've mentioned before, OU Black is running an aggressive comp, and you see the Kraken being able to take 2 down from Coastal Squid Surge, and now with this advantage here and having a fair number of clams, it's gonna be interesting to see how they go in here, how they expect to anticipate going in through this first minute.
Yep, and you see cornered with 7 clams there, that 96 getting the jump out just in time to be able to save those clams makes the power clam. It does eventually go down, but much better than dropping a bunch of clams for their enemy to be able to pick up. But now momentum has completely changed, and all that map control is quickly going in favor of Coastal Squid Surge. You see a bit of our clam juggling going on as they are able to make the power clam, but now with OU Black back in respawn, they're gonna lose a little bit of ground here. You see this member of OU Black kind of rushing in, getting that pick, and now hiding under the cover of this ledge and getting a safe jump out again. Great play there by OU Black. We keep seeing them take good jump outs, take good fights, and paying off well for them. This crowd now set up, trying to avoid that Kraken, which they do, but are kind of forced to go back to be able to pick it off. And now that gives up some space for OU Black, as you already see them, 3 of their members moving, and you've got that crab tank online trying to clear away, but they're taken out from behind. Coastal Squid Surge not allowing that to go on, now reclaiming some of this space in mid with some tri-strikes as we kind of just play a little bit of a neutral game until they can really get the picks they need to be in the enemy base.
Yep, and we see within the first 2 minutes already, both teams have a decent amount of clams. They both had power clams early on, so it was going to be interesting to see just how they find these neutral exchanges here. Now you see Coastal Squid Surge have 2 power clams ready, have an advantage, and now they're going to break the barrier, go all the way up to the 60 now, having that early push, having that early lead. They're going to go down 3, but that was a great play so far just to get them into an early advantage, and because both teams have had a hard time scoring so far with just how much of a firefight and how much neutral has been emphasized in this game so far, it's going to be really interesting to see how does OU Black respond to this. You see that they have the pity clam ready, and they're going to try and just like build specials and have like something ready to break through this Coastal Surge defense. We've seen Coastal Surge have some good defensive plays here, but it's going to be really interesting to see how do they act now that they have the lead. You see that Coastal Squid Surge has this advantage now, and they're going to try and do what they can to prevent OU Black from taking any push possible.
Yep, and it's worth noting the power of Kraken in Clamblitz. We saw them be able to swim in there. They're able to get a jump in, able to protect it. One of the very strong points of this special is just kind of being able to write out objective for free. There we saw OU Back trying to come in, trying to clear some space, get a power clam in, but going just short of Coastal Squid Surge's defense. You've got the Kraken coming in, but it isn't able to save the power clam in time. The Super Chumps are up here trying to create as much space, but now they don't have the clam economy together to be able to make this push.
Yep, and without having that clan economy, it's going to be really hard for OU Black to make anything happen here. You see that they have a power clam still, and you see that they still have a neutral number now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how did they react here. There's a little over a minute to go here. They need to make something happen. They don't have to rush it, though. Clamblitz can very much be a game where you can just have one major push to win in these sets here. So with 1 minute to go, it's going to be interesting to see what does OU Black do to potentially force an overtime or take the lead.
Yep, and right now they're trying to move forward just a little bit, claim some more space, but that splash is going to be hit. Oh my gosh, there's going to be 2 taken down. Now 3 down on the side of OU Black, and you see Peachy here rushing in with this Kraken, and Coastal Squid Surge is going to be able to open the basket. Once again, you've got members of Coastal Squid Surge in there going ahead and extending that lead of theirs. 3 down now. The last member, this heavy splatling, trying to run back, trying to hold some space still. But they are going to be pushed going down again. Now, this is the chance for OU Black. They could have, they still need their pity clam back at base. They've got this Kraken. They can throw in 3 power clams here, plus some more if they're able to get these jumps in, but they need to be able to coordinate this. They've got the first one open, and this 96 cal goes down after the Kraken. It's just the Nautilus left up here being chased down, trying to get out that rain and be able to survive, but it isn't going to be enough as that basket closes, and Coastal Squid Surge is going to take the first game for them in this set.
It's exactly what we want to see from Coastal Squid Surge to even it up here. OU Black had a great opportunity at the end to make this amazing push and make this amazing comeback. They just didn't have enough execution there and enough coordination to really just seal the deal. I'm really excited to see going into this next game what adjustments are we going to see from both teams. It's already an even set now. Now it's just the best of 5.
Yes, it sure is, and I love to see that switch there from Coastal Squid Surge, what they needed there. I'm gonna spread a little bit of the heavy splatling propaganda here because that was my beloved main in Splatoon 2 Heavy Remix. Please come back to me. It's so good at holding space, and you saw it happen time and time again there. And even after Coastal Squid Surge was wiped, Peachy was able to kind of just back up, stay up as the last member, and just paint space, not allow them directly into their base, and just stall enough time for the rest of their team to be able to respawn and get back in to assist. And that's one of the great things about that weapon, and it's definitely something that helped Coastal Squid Surge there a lot. Another pointer there, I think those Krakens. I think that Coastal Squid Surge was able to utilize them so well. You saw the jumps come into those Krakens a lot faster. You saw the fights happening forward with the Kraken happening a lot faster than you did on the side of OU Black, and I think that their pace was just a little bit better for the mode there.
Yep, it's really just a matter of pace, as you've been mentioning before, and just being able to use the specials in the most valuable time possible, which ended up turning the game in the favor of the Coastal Squid Search here. So we're going into Splat Zones on Manta Maria. What are you expecting to see from both teams on this relatively new map for Splatoon 3 and compared to like every other thing we've seen so far?
Well, I'm wondering if we are going to see those Krakens returning. They can be really good, but of course, the kind of scary thing to consider if you're a Kraken on this map is the mast area around the middle. Because, it's got those grates, and as a Kraken, you can't really go and just swim on those for free. So if there is somebody up there, they can kind of just go across the mast for a little bit of safety. So it's definitely something to consider about if that's what you want to bring out or not. As far as what we saw with our backline switching from, the double E leader fight happening in the first fight, I may want to see something that can be a little bit more mobile, like that heavy splatling, or maybe even a custom jet squelcher that can provide a lot of paint and mobility to the team, could provide that rain across both of the zones, because this is a double zones map. You need to be able to hold both of them, and even neutralizing one of them is going to stop your timer from ticking down. So you've got to have a lot of paint control. You've got to know where everybody is and keep that control around your team and the 2 zones.
Exactly. Having this like the 2 zones in really close proximity to each other, it's gonna be really cool seeing like potential weapons like the custom jet squelcher just having the ability to paint just really far and being able to maintain so much space. Be potentially having a lot of bomb poking from each side here, just trying to like maintain space, maintain pressure from across the zones. And like it's really easy to like take a zone, but like being able to control both is gonna be incredibly important going into this game.
Yes, it certainly is here. They're going to be loading in as we see what they're bringing to the table for Manta and what they're cooking. We see the custom jet and an E-leader coming out on the side of Coastal Squid Surge. Kind of a double backline comp there. Of course, C-Jet can play a little bit more aggro, but it is traditionally played more in of an anchor role. And then on the side of OU Black, we see the Chumps coming out. We see a Hydra, which is going to be an interesting matchup against that leader. And we see a Big Swig Roller.
Yep, it's a really interesting selections from all teams here. You do not see the Big Squid come out very often, but because the Big Squid has so much paint, it's just going to be able to like take some zones for free here. As you see that Coastal Squids is going to go one down here, OU Black's going to go two down here early on. It's going to have both teams are trying to just find a zone here. Coastal Squids is going to take control of the zone first. They're now going to try and like just get these picks here. You see them just being able to punish all these jump-ins now. They're just able to keep so much space now on the side of them. It's going to be interesting to see how they push up here. How are they going to take use of this advantage here? Very much knowing that whoever wins this game probably has the momentum going into the set.
Yes, they certainly do. You see the Hydra here trying to create some space for its team, get some picks out onto that zone, as right now OU Black is trying to be able to take control, but they do fall down, and it looks like they're going to be in danger from these strikes and from this leader watching them. And now it's just kind of this ink back up from the Big Swig all alone, and Coastal Squid Surge is easily able to punish it, forcing the last member back. You saw one on the left side too. I believe that was their Inzap now, shooting in those chumps, trying to clear some space, but right now Coastal Squid Surge has a good job of maintaining this control, and they're just kind of standing there and painting over the specials that are incoming. But very quickly, as you said, with these small double zones, it can change really fast. OU Black is going to take control for the first time of this game. You saw the jump out on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, saving whatever special charge they already had built up, ready to push again, but that leader already taking an early snipe onto the Hydra.
Exactly. That's exactly what you wanted to see from the side of OU Black, just trying to being able to counteract the amazing painting and the amazing speed that Coastal Squid Surge has been able to do. Coastal Squid Surge is going to be able to take back the zone once again. You've been seeing it time and time again, just how fast they're having these two splashes, the Neo and the Vanilla, and having the custom Jet Squelcher to just provide so much pressure with all their specials and just being able to keep painting. Now you see that Coastal Squid Surge is going to be in their penalty, but they're going to be able to still maintain a lot of painting pressure, just being able to control so much. They lose one zone, but are able to take out the Big Swig Roar, recap the zone now, and like it's getting really hard for OU Black to make anything happen so far.
Yep, right now they're just trying to hold the space as much as they can, but it's really hard. You've got this C-Jet that's up here, finally going down to the strikes, but having such a good control of this upper space and good awareness. You saw just like about 30 seconds ago earlier, Plank trying to make the flank onto the E-Leader, but the C-Jet calling it out, the E-Leader drops down and the custom jet picked them off. And it's just great awareness, great special coordination, great control from Coastal Squid Surge. They're running this kind of double backline comp, but they're making it work. They're playing a little bit more aggressive with that C-Jet, and they're holding that space, which is the key that they really needed.
Exactly, and you see just how much flexibility they're able to have with this comp from the end of Coastal Squid Surge. You see OU Black bring out the ink back right now, but with a minute 45 to go, it's going to be just all about just trying to paint the zones right now and just get as much as you can. You see them being able to take one zone, they're going to try and cap the other, and now they do. So now OU Black forces Coastal Squid Surge into a penalty. It's going to give them a chance to stall a little bit more, but it's getting really hard still for OU Black to find any of these openings. As you see, their Hydra went down, and now Coastal Squid Surge is going to look to recap the zone once again, but it's right now an absolute firefight from both teams. You see the Super Chumps come out now from the side of OU Black, takes the zone for a little bit, but not able to get enough. And now Coastal Squid Surge goes two down, but now OU Black is going to have some paint control. The zones are just keep going back and forth. With how close these zones are and how small they are, it's just been really easy for both teams to like keep pushing the zones and just keep going back and forth.
Yep, but already that's going to be two down on the side of OU Black as they're going to come in through this side, ready and rearing to go and charging this. They only have 48 seconds left in this match. They don't even need to be able to extend their lead. They just need to be able to hold on, keep zones neutral long enough to be able to stall out this timer. One down still on the side of OU Black as they're coming in. You've got this E-Leader in a great position to watch these entry points, and you've got a member of Coastal Squid Surge also sharking this wall, trying to take out this Big Swig, is able to get the trade-off, which is good for them right now. Any members that they can take down from OU Black is one less member to be able to cap, because you cannot go into overtime by just neutralizing a zone. You need to be in control of both zones. But with just 5 seconds left on the timer, it doesn't even look like it's going to be going into overtime, as Coastal Squid Surge is going to end that with a knockout.
Absolutely love what we were seeing from the end of Coastal Squid Surge. You saw the flexibility they had with the double backline comp, having the E-Leader and the Jet Squelcher able to provide a ton of pressure. And you also see how the two Splash-O-Matic players super coordinated, just able to rush in on OU Black and have just a lot of special pressure that just ended up swinging the game in their favor.
Absolutely worked out so well for them, and so unfortunate for OU Black on the side of the Hydra. The Hydra versus E-Leader matchup, you never want to be on the side of the Hydra in that one. It's just such a rough matchup there. And allowing that Jet Sculpture to play a little bit more like a midline than a backline while having that E-Leader really just gave them so much range. You have this Jet that would normally be further back, being able to play further up, create even more pressure further into the base of OU Black. Everything just kind of worked out there for them. They had the right comp on the right map, and it just worked out beautifully.
Exactly. I'm interested to see what do each of the teams do here going into tower control and undertow spillway. We've seen that there's a lot of weapon flexibility on the sides of both teams and a lot of good players and a lot of good plays happening. So going into undertow on tower, what do you want to see from the side of OU Black to start to even up the set and like make it so that they have a chance to take and to catch up and eventually potentially take the set?
Definitely one thing I want to see, re-entry specials, making sure that they save, like those strikes, good specials to be able to break back in to Coastal Squid Surge when they are in control of the objective. And that's going to be very important, especially here in Tower Control. Tower Control kind of known to be a little bit of a snowballing mode, since you have the team that is currently in control of the objective, getting that passive special charge, which can kind of allow them just to spam specials in your base. It's going to be more important than ever to have a really good and solid retake plan, not dropping too fast without your teammates, making sure to build for special instead of just running in, especially when the opponents have specials ready. Two things you need to look out for there. And then just as far as the weapon comps, figuring out what's going to work on this map. One thing that I think works beautifully well on under control or undertow spillway is sloshers. I think that they are a great pick to be able to kind of slosh up and over that middle area. You can slosh onto the glass platforms where those E-leaders or backlines might be able to stand, or get right up underneath ledges and be able to pressure people away from them who are trying to be able to stop the tower. And I'm not sure if any of those players play those weapons, but I think they could be great picks here.
Yep, I'm really excited to potentially see that. We've known that Undertow's a map with a lot of verticality in some areas, especially in the middle, and just being at a really solid spot for some anchors to just like hold position. So being able to like take care of those, having a slosher being able to just like perch up over, just like being able to hit these shots from to hit the players who are above them is going to be really important going in.
Yes, it absolutely is going to be, and finding their footing here too. Right now, the set 2-1 in favor of Coastal Squid Surge. If you're OU Black, you really don't want Coastal Squid Surge to start getting the runaway here. If they get the point here, it puts them in match point, and you're gonna have to come back from a 3-1 situation. So OU Black really wants to make sure that they kind of take a step back, calm down, and readjust after that last match so that they can get back kind of in the groove, get their momentum back going, and try to take the W in this set.
Yep, and we saw in game one, OU Black definitely has the capability to do so, and they definitely have the skill, talent, and coordination to make the set tied and then eventually take care of the set. We know that OU Black has the wins already. They went 1-1 this season, and like especially this being week 3, this is the first start of what we could potentially be considering of like actual playoff implications. So knowing that on the side of both teams, whoever is going to win this set is going to have a lot more momentum than just considering even like week 1, because this is now really the halfway point in the season. What can you do to potentially make a playoff push?
Yep, and as we're going to see both teams loading in on Coastal Squid Surge, we see that double splash return along with the leader, and returning to the blaster, definitely a great choice for tower control. And we see a completely new comp on the side of OU Black, bringing out a squeezer, crack-on roller, the Vanilla Junior, and the new Nzap. Interesting choices there. I think that Junior is going to be great for bubbles, for trying to get onto tower, but they need to be able to claim it first. And right now, it is Coastal Squid Surge just barging on through here, already rolling up to checkpoint 2, and right now it just doesn't look like there's any presence from OU Black even contesting this tower at this moment. You see Plank, though, now responding, going around trying to get the picks there, going down to the tri-strikes as Coastal Squid Surge is allowing this tower just to barrel through. It is now at the 3rd checkpoint, 2 down on the side of OU Black, this is the snowball that I said that we needed to worry about. Just the junior left alive, but now just the zap. It just members of OU Black are going down. They're kind of caught right now a little bit in this speed stagger loop. You've got the specials that keep coming out from Coastal Squid Surge as they're able to just get the tower control special charge, and you're not really seeing much of the specials yet coming out from OU Black. You do see a chump, but it's not necessarily the best retake special. You see Plank now dropping a pretty good bubble there, set up to defend, to try to stop this tower, but our Coastal Squid Surge is just going to kind of let the tower reset back a little bit, wait that bubble out before beginning their assault again here with the full wipe onto OU Black.
We said this was a snowball heavy mode, but it's been really showing here. Coastal Squid Surge has just been able to take advantage of their aggression and just being able to keep pushing the tower. Putting it all the way up to the 22 within the first minute is no easy feat. And you consistently see that Coastal Squid Surge is taking all these numbers advantages here, being able to consistently put OU Black in these 2 down, 3 down situations. We even saw a wipe early on. So from OU Black, it's just like we have to retake. We have to stay calm here in these situations here. Even though Coastal Squid Surge is already at the 20, it's going to be really hard for OU Black to make it back. You can't give up hope here. You can't lose control and lose poise here.
No, you definitely can't, and we need to see maybe that Zuka, I believe that's Zuka on the, yes, there it comes out from the Squeezer, or the Kraken from the Kraken roller. We need to see those used to try to be able to take some space, but once again, we're finding them in a 2-down situation. You got Peachy over here on this blaster, kind of just set up, clearing as much space as possible. The Kraken finally coming out onto tower, but their teammates aren't forward with it. You need to be able to clear the space, but now that Kraken is just going to go down to the strikes. After it ends, you've got to find the space and you've got to get your team up there with you. Right now, you kind of see that Coastal Squid Surge is kind of taking these 2-on-1 fights. They're finding a member of OU Black that's overextended and they're picking them off. And right now, OU Black is really kind of taking fights alone, and they need to make sure, hey, they need to back up. Hey, but friend, come with me. Let's go fight this person together. They need to play this a little bit better while they're in disadvantage, because these 1v1s right now are just being lost.
Yep, and we know that Coastal Squid Surge is thriving in these 1v1 situations because they're often able to make it into a 2v1 or even more. And because of that, OU Black is kind of just feeding into what Coastal Squid Surge wants you to do. So now OU Black, they already have the tower back on their side of the base now. They're going to just try to just reset as much as they can, but they need to have the paint control to be able to do so. They need to have the numbers and the coordination to make anything possible here, because now with a minute 15 to go and only having 4 points on the board on the side of OU Black, time is ticking here. Even though you're able to now take the tower, what are you going to be able to do with only 1 minute to go?
Yep, it's going to be a massive push that is facing them with just a minute left on the clock now, but they need to be able to find their way into mid to be able to make it happen. Right now, you just still see so much of this yellow in mid as Coastal Squid Surge is still just holding dominance over this area. You're seeing that they're playing so well around these ledges, around these corners, kind of this glass area in the middle, and right now they're just forcing OU Black further and further back into their own base. This checkpoint is going to be encroached upon now, as they're going to be making another attempt at it, and this time they're finally going to find success in breaking the 3rd checkpoint, and that is going to roll all the way into a KO.
An absolutely dominant game from the end of Coastal Squid Surge. Just being able to take care of all of these advantages, make that massive push early on in the first minute. It made it incredibly difficult for OU Black to get any footing whatsoever. You saw OU Black keep going, 2 down, 3 down. Coastal Squid Surge just all up in their face, just being able to take all these picks, control basically the entire map with paint, and it just made it super hard for OU Black to get any footing at all.
It sure did, and that's a rough one there, because now you're in match point for Coastal Squid Surge, and you're kind of coming off a game where you just kind of got stepped on the whole game. So you've got to be really, really careful here. You've got to think about how you're approaching disadvantage, making sure that you're not feeding, making sure you're playing for special to be able to break back in. And most importantly, you've got to make sure you're not falling victim to mindset. Mindset is one of the things I say time and time again can make or break break runs. When you're 3 down and you come off a rough game, it's not the time to doom. It's not the time to think about, oh, well, if I had just done this, if I had just done that, you can't fall victim to that. You've got to think, okay, there's stuff, we'll think about it later. I know what I need to fix right now, and we're going to come in, we're going to win this game. We're going to win the next game. We're going to win the next game. We're still in this set. We're going to take it. And that's exactly what they're hoping to do here on Rainmaker Scorch Forge.
Yep, just going off your point about mental, it's really important now if you're OU Black to just take this one game at a time. You know that you won on game one on Rainmaker, so you know that there is some confidence here. You can reset this, and this could be the start of something pretty big here. It is March. March is known for having all these like crazy March Madness moments, all these crazy comebacks, just all these amazing upsets and just amazing play. But really here, it's gonna be up to OU Black to just have that mental reset. How do you approach game 5 here knowing you're 3-1, you're down 3-1, but you're not out of the set just yet. It's very much possible for you to just win 3 in a row just like Coastal Squid Surge did.
Yes, it absolutely is possible. I mean, we saw it week 1 from OU Black. We saw that they were able to clear 4-1 against MSU, and they can definitely do it again here. They can find these wins. They just have to take it, like you said, one game at a time. And that's important here, especially like you said in Rainmaker. You got a little bit in comfort knowing you're going back to a mode that you won previously. And in that Rainmaker game, it was really good for Coastal or for OU Black. I'm sorry. We kind of saw them there really able to hold dominance, really able to make sure they knew when and where the Rainmaker needed to be and how to push it together. And if they can find that coordination again like they did in game 1, they can definitely take the game here. We're going to be loading and seeing what they're going to be picking up and bringing to the table this time. From Coastal Squid Surge, we see that same comp coming out, 2 shooters, the Blaster and the E-Leader. And we see on the side of OU Black, they're returning. They've got this 52 gal coming out with the E-Leader again, and they've got once again that Kraken coming out, which can be so good on Rainmaker. You can clear a path. You can kind of see people do kind of like a Kraken surf with their team. If they can get the Kraken and their Rainmaker player can kind of just stay inside of the Kraken, they can stay safe from a lot of harm. There's good tools here at OU Black's advantage. They know that they can take this. They just need to use those tools.
And it's a shame so far because you see OU Black go 3 down immediately, honestly. And now Coastal Squid Surge is going to have this runaway to the checkpoint, and all of a sudden, Coastal Squid Surge is now in a really good position to take this set really early on. You're going to see them all jump over towards the Rainmaker here. They have it in a great position here, and now, like, you put the pressure now on OU Black to have to make something happen here. You see the Kraken come out. They're going to try and disrupt any potential push here on the side of Coastal. So now it's going to just be really important. What can you do here as you end up seeing the Kraken just going and ending in a 3v1 situation?
Yeah, an unfortunate end, and of course caught in the end lag there, as Coastal Squid Surge is kind of able to punish it. But now we see a 2 downside on the side of Coastal Squid Surge. It's definitely their opportunity to make the move, but they go down as well. Now just one member of OU Black left up. They still don't have any points on the board yet. They need to be able to grab that Rainmaker and take it out of that side of the base. They need to be able to get it up that Rainmaker and start getting the push going. But right now we're going to see Coastal Squid Surge picking it up, but this could be dangerous. They've got that Kraken chasing after them, but they're able to fall back down into mid safely, not letting OU Black pick that up in their base. But now once again we kind of see that the space was lost in mid. They need to be able to find it and retake it. Once again, this Blaster doing a great job here, kind of poking around the edges, but now it's 2 down on the side of Coastal Squid Surge. You've got this E-Leader setup, you've got the Wave Breaker coming out, and this is their opportunity. They're going to be painting up, oh my gosh, they're going to be painting up that pedestal and go down just short, but all is up in their favor right now. The Blaster is the only one up, and they're just doing a great job getting those picks. They're able to break the check eventually, but that Blaster getting some very key picks there to stop what could have been a much worse situation for Coastal Squid Surge.
Yep, absolutely crazy situation that we saw from both teams. OU Black and Coastal Squid are just fighting back and forth, trading these picks, trading the offense right now, and there's only one up on the side of both teams as the Rainmaker resets back to neutral. It's a relatively even game so far. It's going to be showing which team really just wants this more. OU Black knows they need to win this game to stay in the set. They only need to take the Rainmaker a little bit further than where they are now, but it's like, how can you make the best push possible as Coastal Swift Surge has the Rainmaker? You see them just trying to create some space, just trying to force themselves into a situation where they're going to be able to make a solid push, but they go down, and now OU Black, if they're going to be able to make a push here, this could be a really good way for them to set up for a potential endgame.
Yep, they've got to be careful though. This blaster here showing time and time again that they know exactly where they need to be able to punish OU Black. They are going to be forcing that E leader Black, but Plank getting the catch on them. 2 down on each side now. Right now, a little bit of advantage on the side of OU Black, but not enough to be able to make a push just yet. They need to be able to find this Rainmaker pop with just a minute and 30 seconds remaining in this match. Now, the E leader goes down on the side of OU Black. That is a huge pick for Squid Surge, or Coastal Squid Surge, and now you've got these strikes coming out, trying to stall this time. Another pick from the E leader, definitely going to be great there, allowing this Rainmaker to hopefully reset for them so that they don't have to stall it out again. This Kraken once again coming out, but no members of OU Black really able to take advantage of it. This time at least able to retreat back to safety instead of getting splatted on the end.
With 1 minute to go, it's going to be really critical to see how both these teams react in the situation. You see the Crab Tank come online for Coastal Squid Surge, and now it puts them in a situation where they have a numbers advantage while OU Black is trying to make something happen. And because OU Black had a numbers disadvantage, they weren't able to make anything out of that push right away. And now with less than 40 seconds on the clock, it's going to be really important for OU Black to try and make something happen here. We see it 30 seconds now. The Rainmaker is reset in neutral. What is OU Black going to be able to do here in this last push? They have potentially one chance just to stay in the set. The Rainmaker is going to reset. It's now coming down to the wire.
They certainly need to deal with this blaster. They've got 2 down now on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, but that blaster is who caused them so many problems before, and now it looks like that blaster is the one who caused them problems again, getting the wipeout, and that is going to be the game for Coastal Squid Surge as they're going to take this set 4-1.
Absolutely amazing play throughout this entire set from Coastal Squid Surge. Even though you see OU Black have these pushes, being able to make the games really close, Coastal Squid Surge has always been able to just play their own game. You saw that they're able to just like keep control of the map, being able to find these picks and just never lose composure, even going down in the first game. It's really showing that Coastal Squid Surge has a lot of momentum now going into the rest of the season, and they're one of the teams to watch for in Division 5.
They certainly are, and oh my gosh, my eyes are on that blaster on Peachy. That defense there, we saw when there was like 3 up on the Rainmaker, when they got that first break, that blaster able to just kind of give them hell. And again there, that blaster ending that game to Peachy. Definitely a great outset there to Coastal Squid Surge, but that was an amazing set. Good job to both teams. You know, OU Black, nothing to feel bad about here. There's definitely more weeks to come. You've got your chance to shine, and you showed so much dominance on that Rainmaker Brine, and you were able to hold it off on so many other maps for so long. It's definitely nothing to be disappointed of. That was literally 1 point loss. If you had broken the checkpoint first, it would have been a completely different game.
Exactly. It looks like we might be seeing a playoff 7 here now with both teams. And now if we go into C, like what else are we going to be able to see from both teams here? You can see some a little more flexibility on now that you know that the pressure really isn't on. Maybe this might be the things we're looking to see, like the players in their like a more natural, more casual environment, just being able to see what else do they have to show for us here, especially now we're going Clan Blitz on Umami Ruins, a brand new map, and making its CCA debut this week.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, the pressure is off now. The set is technically over. You know, these rest of these games, this is just for practice. You don't have to sweat about, hey, is this going to cost me my set? We've already got the score. There's no need to worry. And maybe that will give OU Black a little bit better of a headspace, a little bit more clear of a mind going into this game. Clan Blitz Umami, you know, is definitely one that teams are still working out, still trying to figure out. You know, I myself played this map for the first time today in low ink. link, and I had no clue what was going to be going on it because I haven't played it before in my life. So it's definitely one that teams are still working around, figuring it out. You've got this really tight choke point in front of the basket that really is pretty much the only great approach option. You have like one kind of cheeky little jump you can make, but it's super duper exposed and really hard to be able to get across without being shot at. So you've got to find your way to kind of brute force through it, and that's going to be the key to trying to get in there and hold them in their base.
Yep, we've seen E-Leader play, some amazing E-Leader play in fact, from both teams. So it's gonna be really interesting to see on this map how an E-Leader is just able to control from mid, from these choke points, just make it really hard for either team to really get out of position or just have any chance to make a push. So going into what is now a game 6, just in the playoff 7, I'm really excited to see what potential options are coming out from both teams.
Yes, I'm definitely interested to see here too. Looks like on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, we're going to see them returning to that heavy splatling. Great choice in Clamplets. And on the side of OU Black, we're going to see a double machine 52 gal and the new ZNF Charger coming out with those tri-strikes. Really interesting picks there.
Yeah, really interesting picks indeed from OU Black. It's a comp that traditionally has much less painting, especially in comparison to Coastal Squid Surge, who's been playing very fast, been able to have all these picks and just have so much map control. I'm really interested to see what potential outcomes are going to have from both these teams here. As you see, Coastal Squid Surge already has a power clam ready, and with how fast they've been able to move, they could potentially make a push really fast, having that Kraken online, already taking down the 52, they're taking down the sloshing machine now too, and having the Kraken online, it's looking like Coastal Squid Surge gonna end up having another chance to break the barrier, and now once, as you've been seeing in this set, they've just been able to keep pushing up on these advantages, putting OU Black in a 3-down situation with the barrier down.
Yep, and this is a match where you can really force them really far back in this base. If you can claim this choke point here and hold this space, it can be really, really hard to be able to get back in. But it looks like they are going to fall back for the time being. They do have another power clam at the ready for their next push, but not going to be able to dunk it in time. As you said here, kind of seeing a little bit of a struggle for paint on the side of OU Black. Machine definitely a solid pick in this meta, but not really a weapon that you usually see teams run to. You know, you see all the top level play where they have like the triple splash machine, and it's a great aggro option, but it needs its speed painted. It needs the movement or momentum to move around the map. And right now, it seems that's kind of a little bit of what OU Black is lacking. They're kind of set up here. They've got a great spot here for this Charger to be able to look out and try to stop oncoming things, but they're being overwhelmed a little bit by the force of Coastal Squid Surge.
Exactly. Coastal Squid Surge, as we've seen in the best of 7, they're just able to keep controlling with paint, just being able to keep control with their speed, and especially against OU Black, who is running a more traditionally slower comp than Coastal Squid Surge, you really see the difference in speed come out here. The amount of specials that Coastal Squid Surge is able to put out, the amount of paint they're able to put out, and the amount of control you see, they're able to just find these picks just because of all of these options, having all the paint in the world just to be able to force OU Black into a really awkward situation.
Yes, they do. And right now, you see them kind of struggling up here. They're getting, some picks, but they don't have the paint to always advance forward. But they also don't necessarily have the clam economy right now. And painting is a huge part of being able to get that clam economy. You want to be able to open your map, kind of flare it, and be able to see where those clams are lighting up, where you need to move to. And right now, this map is just so yellow. Plank trying desperately to be able to pick up that power clam and keep it alive, but Coastal Squid Surge just holding down this area relentlessly.
Yup, exactly. Coastal Squid Surge just keeping control of mid. They don't even have to push anymore or score anymore if they don't want to. You see the Kraken come out now, and it's going to just put so much pressure, just being able to just brute force its way into any potential defense for OU Black. The Kraken goes down, and OU Black has a 2-up advantage now. Despite this, because they have such a hard time controlling outside of this Booyah Bomb coming towards the basket, they don't really have any opportunities to really make any plays of their own.
No, and you see it again, like you've got these two power clams up on the side of OU Black. They've got what they need to make pushes, but they just don't have the space to do it. You see this slosher there trying to make a flank, but when their feet get painted and you have like 3 members of Coastal Switch Surge like convening down upon you, there's nothing left to do at that point. And right now they're just, after they converge upon you, then they just take control of mid again, and you got this heavy, which again I think is such a great choice for Clam Blitz because it's just able to hold space. That's one thing that this weapon does phenomenally. It's able to be able to just sit there, stand, and kind of stare at places and not be rushed down. It's not like your traditional kind of like charger E-leader where if you can kind of just rush up in its face, it's gonna die. If you rush up at a heavy splatling, it's just gonna unleash a volley of shots upon you. So they're really using everything they have in their arsenal right now to their advantage.
Exactly. I love the heavy spotling pick with this comp for Coastal Squid Surge. It's a more faster anchor compared to other E-leaders here. And now all of a sudden, Coastal Squid Surge is going to keep on the points, keep putting on the pressure. Going to take it all the way to the 26. And now with a 15-second left on the clock and with very little clam economy on the side of OU Black, it looks like that's pretty much just going to be game. You see now it's going to come down to whether OU Black is going to be able to pick up the power clam, just going to be able to force anything here. You've seen that they've had trouble been able to make an opening of their own. Now the power clam's in play, and they're going to just try and paint, but they're having such a hard time. The 52 is going to carry the clam, but really have nowhere to go. They're going to just try and make one last desperation push, but really, it just shows been the name of the game, and it's pretty much the name of the entire set. Coastal Squid Surge controls the middle, controls everything, and as a result, they just control the pace of the play and win the game.
They certainly do. That was just like, look at how much yellow is on this map. Coastal Squid Surge just had such a dominant hold of map control, and that's what's so important in Clam Blitz. You know, it's kind of like it's not turf war, obviously, but controlling space like you do in that mode is so important here, and it gives you so many options. It gives you movement, it gives you clams, it gives you routes to push through, and the lack of paint on OU Black was just really apparent there. They had great aggression. You saw they were good flanks that could have worked if they had the paint. You saw those machines sneaking around, getting behind some backlines at some point, but just weren't able to find the escape route because their feet were just painted after, the shooters would notice them.
And now going into the last game here, Splat Zones on Sturgeon Shipyard. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of comp OU Black is bringing. So we saw that they have a lot of weapon diversity from throughout this entire set. Instead of running like what they've been used to running, you saw the slower comp come out in Clam Blitz. I'm really interested to see what kind of weapons they might bring going into this next game.
And I think that they could have a really good comp here. Just switch off one of those machines for a shooter. Switch it on like a C-Jet, switch off for a Splash, a T-Tech, Splash Neo. There's a lot of options there, and if you change off one of those, I think you can set the pace of the game a lot better and still have that machine, because I think machine is a great option. It's got Busy Bomb, it's got Booyah Bomb, which are great, poking and area control tools that they can really use to their advantage. They just need to find the space to move around with it.
Finding space is going to be the name of the game right now for both teams right here. We saw Coastal Squid Surge just being able to control space by having all this paint. Maybe that's exactly what we want to see from OU Black. Maybe a more paint-heavy team is going to be helpful. We saw that sometimes they're able to get these control, get some defense, and have some good moments, but then just getting paint on the ground is going to be super important for them going into this next game.
It definitely is, especially since it's splat zones. You want to make sure you have enough paint that you're actually able to retake that zone. I'm also interested in the backlines. As a backline myself, I find that, choices like leader, chargers, stringers tend to struggle here a little bit, especially with those machines. I'd be very scared to bring out a charger against a machine on this map that can kind of just sit underneath that ledge, poke up at my snipe very easily. I'm interested in see a little bit more of a mobile backline coming out, like the heavy, or like we saw in that Manta game, the C-Jet, I think would also be a really excellent pick here.
I would love to personally see the C-Jet come out, especially having the Inkstorm, just being able to put on so much pressure and like a faster comp, really. We saw that Coastal Squid Surge just making really good use of having like fast fast play, just being able to be aggressive and just like control so much space. So we saw how well they're able to utilize having like these double anchors or having just a C-Jet play but flex between the midline and the back. So I'm really curious to see if we see that come out again going into this last game.
So am I. And we're going to be loading in and we're going to see that they're choosing to stick instead with that same comp. But we do see the double machine return. But this time paired alongside a Hydra Splatling and an Arrow Spray. Very interesting choices there. The Hydra Splatling can kind of sit up and control a lot of space, but I'd be a little bit scared for that leader fight. And the Arrow Spray able to put a lot of paint down, but doesn't have a lot of defensive prowess itself, as OU Black already goes down in an early wipe. And this could be a very dangerous spot. Now, if they can get that E-Leader up to snipe and protect it from these, machines and stuff coming in, you'll be in a very good spot for Coastal Squid Surge to begin this lockout. It looks like they are staying back a little bit, and right now OU Black needs to try to take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that Coastal Squid Surge isn't in their base, isn't pushing too far up. But you've already got those strikes coming out, you got the Booyah Bomb coming out, and now that is going to be just enough for OU Black to be able to take the zone. But 2 down now on the side of Coastal Squid Surge. You need to see OU Black move forward. They can't make the same mistake as Coastal Squid Surge. They need to be able to go forward, take that space, and stop Coastal Squid Surge from being able to even touch the zone.
Exactly. And like one thing to point out on the side of OU Black is that they have 4 Booyah Bombs in their arsenal right now. Just being able to displace anyone that comes their way, or just to put all this pressure to force Coastal Squid Surge to make an opening here, and all of a sudden OU Black has brought the lead down all the way to just a 1-point difference. If they're able to take the zone here, which they're not able to, they could have been able to just like take the lead. That's something they've been struggling to do throughout this entire set so far. And now on the side of OU Black, they're going to have the zone once again. They're just going to try and fight through this penalty and just try and take as much control as possible here. We saw that Coastal Squid Surge had a hard time pushing up here, and now you see that CSS is just gonna try to fight as much as they can here, but they're gonna have a hard time so far because now OU Black has an advantage in terms of control.
Yep, and that leader there kind of being moved by the machine, kind of what I said earlier, is kind of the scary part of playing a leader on this map. But they're, a blaster here, and the shooter are able to go forward and kind of clear the space out. And now once again, Coastal Squid Surge set up in a good spot. You can see here they're a little bit more forward than they were before. You had that crab tank up there. You have the E-Leader in a much more aggressive position than they had on the first push, and this could definitely be the lockout. You see them shred down that Booyah Bomb before it's able to come off, and now they're able to start extending their lead after eating through this penalty. The E-Leader again now here kind of pressing up, eyes on this Hydra, trying to take them out, and they're able to get the pick. 2 down on the side of OU Black. They need to keep these specials, get in with them, push together. Still one of their members is down. You see the 2 Booyah Bombs coming across the zone at the same time, and that is going to be enough to be able to cap it, but still 2 down. That's going to be easy for Coastal Squid Surge to be able to recap.
Great special coordination on the side of OU Black, just being able to now stall out at least a little bit. Now you see OU Black, now they have to like reset the position here, try and just get the zone back. They struggle in terms of painting, as we've seen throughout this entire set so far, but they've shown that throughout this just coordinated play, they're able to make some good picks here. But now CSS, you just see this E-Leader just control so much space here. It's going to make it really hard for OU Black to get anything to happen. See the Aerospray plank being able to now shut them down. But now Coastal Squid Surge is coming down to the last 5. That Booyah Bomb might not be enough here, and all of a sudden Coastal Squid Surge wins the best of 7, then also wins the last 2 games in the playoff 7.
Oh my goodness, that was so close there. And you saw those. I didn't even realize that it was called Booyah Bomb until you mentioned it. And they used that so well. And it looked like for a while there, like they were going to be able to take the lead. Definitely a different team there. And I think that, switching that paint or that comp that had just a little bit more paint than before really worked out, and they were able to move that leader. They were able to take good advantage there, but it just wasn't quite enough in the end.
Yep, sadly, it just wasn't quite enough, but you see that there's a lot of potential from the side of OU Black. Now, going into the rest of the season, they know what adjustments they have to make. This is a great learning experience for them, being able to go back to the set, watch what happened, and just understand what could we do better here. They understand that they've had some struggles in terms of control, being able to like get out of a lockout, and just having trouble painting. So going into this next few weeks here, into the last 2 weeks of the season before playoffs, it's gonna be really important for them to just make these adjustments and then make that push to potentially finish the season really strong.
Yes, indeed. And that's one of the cool things I think about these lower divisions. It's generally a bunch of people who are newer to competitive play. Maybe it's their first time on a competitive Splatoon team, and you may see them make some mistakes. And we were all there at one point in time, and it's great to see them grow and learn throughout the season. And I'm sure that we're gonna definitely see them grow. They're gonna be looking at that VOD review, and they're gonna be making notes off of this set here. And I'm excited to see how they do for the rest of the season.
Exactly. But on the end of Coastal Squid Surge, amazing play from them. We knew that coming into the set, they went undefeated in their first week, and we can see why. They're just able to control the pace of play, just have so much dominance, just being able to play aggressively and make so many snowball moments on the side for them, just making it really hard for other teams to fight back. And going into the rest of the season, I wouldn't be surprised to see Coastal Squid Surge not only make playoffs, potentially make a great run in it.
Oh, definitely agreed. I think they definitely have what it takes here. But that is going to be it for this set. And that's going to be it for us tonight here on the mic. Once again, I was Toma. You can find me at Crescigatier on Twitter or here on Twitch at twitch.tv/ttoma underscore. Where can they find you, Spicy?
You can follow me on Twitter at 2SpicyBM, or you can check out my YouTube, which will hopefully have some more content on it at just SpicyBM then.
Absolutely. And thanks for joining us again tonight. You can catch us live again tomorrow, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for a Division 4 playoff, Seminole Cephalopods versus Diamond Rays. We hope you'll be joining us back for that set tomorrow night. And we hope you all have a great night here from the CCA.